So everybody, we had another jam-packed week when it comes to all things Apple and tech, like iOS 18.3 releasing to the entire public, the Vision Pro all of a sudden getting 2,000 plus new games with a certain caveat, and obviously Samsung kind of copying what the Vision Pro is already doing. So without further ado, let's get into Friday 5 and talk all things that happened this week. Let's get into it. So let's start off with 18.3, which did release to the entire public, so that includes iOS and iPadOS 18.3, macOS 15.3 Sequoia, and all the other subsequent devices did get their hardware update, with a big focus here on those notification summaries on the Apple Intelligence front. If you guys do want to see a whole video going through all the ins and outs and all the nuanced changes, I'll leave a link down below to our iPadOS as well as our iOS change, but just rest assured that if you are using Apple Intelligence and you have one of the newer iPhones or devices that support Apple Intelligence, notification summaries are changing up a little bit, but in my opinion, for the better, as well as some other additional things like improvements to the calculator, some new screen recording options that are coming very soon, and much more. But for me this week, what really stole the show was the new T-Mobile and Starlink collaboration that's happening because, if you may or may not know, Apple did introduce SOS satellite connectability or compatibility when the iPhone 14 lineup did release. It did require a specific hardware chip that's built into those iPhones, meaning that if you had an older iPhone, so the 13 series and older, you would not be able to take advantage of the SOS connectivity. At first it started off, again, as an SOS beacon, so if you were in trouble and you did have direct visibility to the sky, you were able to then get emergency services out there. But now you can use this same SOS satellite connectivity to be able to send normal text messages to loved ones or friends, no matter the situation. So it could just be a normal text, you just are out of range of a regular cell tower. But what's awesome is that now T-Mobile and Starlink just started their beta program where people that have any phone for that matter, as long as you're on the T-Mobile service, you'll be able to connect to Starlink and send out those text messages, make phone calls, and even at some point make video calls as well. The way that this works is that, again, if you've been in a situation where you do get no service or that SOS symbol on the top right of your iPhone and you do not have SOS connectivity, that means that you will default to Starlink. So if you are in those spaces where there is no data service, T-Mobile will then route the data that you are expecting to get from T-Mobile and it'll route it to Starlink services to allow you to have some sort of usage on your iPhone or any smartphone for that matter, like I continue to mention, which I think is a great thing that happened, meaning that we're just going to be even more interconnected in those places that may not have data connectivity. As of right now, you can register on T-Mobile's website, which I'll link down below for you guys to check out. And this is still a beta program, so if you register, you're not guaranteed to get in. You do have to be selected, and I'm not sure if there's going to be any pricing standpoints or what it's going to look like moving forward, but it is a service that is currently in beta. So now let's get into a little bit of Vision OS and Vision Pro news. And like I mentioned, and it basically overnight got the ability to play 2,000 additional games via NVIDIA's GeForce Now platform. So if you guys are unaware, NVIDIA's GeForce Now basically allows you to have a cloud gaming platform that you access via Safari or through the dedicated application, and it allows you to basically cloud game on any of these games that are available through GeForce Now. Most of them are paid titles, and there is a paid subscription for GeForce Now, but there are over 100 games that are 100% free, that require no subscription and require no purchase necessary. So that's at least 100 new games that are easily accessible through GeForce Now on the Vision Pro. And this is available today, so you basically have to go through Safari, log into GeForce Now, and you'll have the ability to play 4K 120 FPS games directly on your Vision Pro, which is something that a lot of people have been yearning for and have been wanting, kind of this idea of being able to play AAA games on your Vision Pro, which hasn't really been around as of yet. Of course, this isn't like spatial gaming or anything like that. This is essentially just a virtual display that's in your Vision Pro, but at least you now do have some more access to more games and more AAA titles. And in that same light, when it comes to Vision Pro and its competitors, Samsung did unveil during their S25 event that they're working on something called Project Moohan. And this is basically a full-on competitor to Vision Pro. And we did see a video from MKBHD, and he's probably the only one that's gotten some hands-on time with this thing, but essentially looks exactly like a Vision Pro. The UI looks very familiar to the Vision Pro as well. It's been Androidified or Googleified. So all the major Google services are what's going to be running this, and this is going to be Google's XR platform. And I do think that Project Moohan is more so about proving out the concept of Google's VR and AR or XR kind of experience and platform versus the actual hardware. Because as we saw, the hardware is pretty much one-to-one when it comes to comparing it to the Vision Pro, to the material choices, to the style, to the look, to even the battery battery that kind of hangs off. So overall, the hardware is going to be relatively commoditized, it looks like, moving forward, but the most important thing is having some sort of platform from an XR or augmented reality standpoint or mixed reality standpoint that can be coded on and then can have some sort of universal standard when it comes to that. Because right now, it is a little bit broken. You do have Apple's platform, you have Meta's platform, and then you have everything else that was explained in the video. So now Google does have a platform that developers can code on and create some games or create some services or create applications that are going to be worth their while versus this broken up situation that a lot of other mixed reality headsets and glasses do have. And then I do want to bring up a little bit of news that we have about the iPhone SE. So the new iPhone SE4 is slated to release in March of 2025. It's been a few years now since we've gotten an update to this phone, and this will be a complete revamp from what we've had in years past. As of right now, you can still get the iPhone SE3, but it basically looks like an iPhone 6 from about 10 years ago now at this point, which is absolutely insane to think about. But I do think this is just going to look like an iPhone 13 mini. So it will have Face ID, it will have a notch, it's going to have one single rear camera, which should be a 48 megapixel camera. It should at least have the A17 Pro chip in there to be able to accommodate Apple Intelligence. It'll also have a USB-C port in lieu of the Lightning port. And then lastly, it will have Apple's first in-house 5G modem, which will be the testing ground for everything that Apple wants to do from that frontier. So definitely expect an iPhone SE4 to be announced in the coming months. And then lastly, I did want to call out one product that I've been using for the last 2 weeks now, and it's going to be these Even Realities G1 glasses that I've been absolutely loving. So these are kind of a new take on what smart glasses should be or could be. Of course, you have all the different AR and VR headsets like we talked about with the Vision Pro and Moohan. And then you have the Meta Ray-Bans of the world, which are, the lenses themselves don't show anything, but they are smart assistants, right? They have speakers, they have microphones, they have cameras, and they basically replace your headphones for phone calls and things like that. And of course, you do have a built-in assistant. Now, what Even Realities did with this one, and I have a full review coming on the channel most likely next week, so definitely stay subscribed for that one. But overall, what they did was they were able to put a green monochromatic kind of display via waveguides to be able to portray some sort of text, some sort of navigation, and some sort of experience that you see on the lenses. So right now, I am using a teleprompter to read what's on the lenses, and you guys can't really even tell because on your side, you're not seeing what's being shown on the glasses themselves. There are no speakers on this, there are no cameras on this, it's much lighter weight. There are 2 microphones on here because there is an Even Realities AI assistant, which is something that I don't really use, to be honest, but you have things like a teleprompter, like navigation, like live translation, and even live captions now, which is a cool thing to see because they have been continuously updating it. So definitely stay tuned. I'll leave a link for these down below if you guys want to check them out, but I've just absolutely been loving these glasses. But that'll do it for this video, everybody. As you saw, there's a bunch of things happening in the Apple world, in the tech world, and I didn't even touch on a few things that were a little bit farther away from the Apple adjacent subject matter. But let me know in the comment down below what you thought of this week. Was anything worthwhile for you? Were there any newsworthy things that happened on the tech world? Let's leave a comment down below and discuss. But that'll do it. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you want to watch more videos like this one, definitely check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everybody.